It's Jordan here, and welcome to episode 7 of Java Programming. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you how to make a simple adder program that can run as many times as the user wants. So we want to go to our default package, new class. I'm going to call this an adder program. Public static void main string args. Obviously this is our starting method for our program. Now we want to get input from the user. So first of all, we're going to need a scanner object. I'm going to call this scanner object console, and this scanner object is going to equal to a new scanner object, and I'm going to give it the parameter system.in. Then I'm going to press Ctrl+Shift+O on a Windows PC to import the java.util.scanner. Then I'm going to need two values. I'm going to need a integer amount, and I'm going to need an double total. So for amount, we want to say console dot get next double next int. Then we want to set this double total to equal to 0 at the beginning. I'll explain why we need to do this when we get to it. For this amount, I forgot to put an equal sign in, that's why it's given an error. So if we put that equal sign in, it should fix it. Now before this int amount, we want to say system.out.println. Then we want to ask the user to please enter amount of numbers you wish to enter. Now I'm going to modify this a little bit and change this println to print. What this will do is when it actually asks the console for a integer, it will start writing the number here rather than on the new line. So I touched on this on a previous episode. We did a while true, and why I used this was it would make the program run indefinitely. Now at this point, we don't want the program to run indefinitely. We only want it to run until the user has entered all the numbers he or she wishes to enter. So this time, this is similar to what an if statement is, but it will run whatever's inside this code until whatever's in these circular brackets is equal to false. So after the user has entered an amount of times, amount numbers he wishes to enter, we want to say in this while true loop statement, while input is more than 0, while amount is more than 0. Okay, so why amount more than 0? If the user enters 10, well, isn't it just going to run, if I decrement amount by 1 every time, isn't it going to get to 1 and then stop? That would mean it would only run 9 times. Well, not exactly. So if we get into this now and say system.out.print, and then say please enter a number to add to the total, colon. Okay, now we want to get a number from the user, so we want to say total is plus equals to console.next double. Now if you've noticed, instead of saying equals to console.next double, I've said plus equals. Now this plus equals just basically means we want to get the total, we want to add total to console.nextDouble and then send that back to total. So if we started off with this total being 10, this total plus equals console.nextDouble. If this double here is 10, then total is going to equal to 20 because it's adding 10 from total to 10 from this console input and then sending that back to total. Rather than saying total is equal to total plus console.nextDouble. Just makes the code a little bit more readable. And this brings me back to why we set this total to 0 in the first place. If we just get rid of this and don't give it a value to start off with, you'll notice that we have an error here. The local variable total may not have been initialized. If we click this initialize, it's going to say, well, total is equal to 0 to start off with, which is exactly what I did in the first place. So you have to initialize the variable first if the first thing you're doing with that variable is plus equals or minus equals, etc, etc. Then after we've done this, we've added to the total. We don't want this to run indefinitely. At the moment it will, because we're not actually making this amount go down at all. It's going to stay at whatever the user inputs, so it's never going to be more than 0. So it's always going to be more than 0, so it's never going to stop. So to counteract this, at the end of this we want to say amount is minus minus. Now amount minus minus is saying get the value of amount and then minus 1. You can do exactly the same with, for example, plus plus, and amount plus 1, this is saying. So plus plus and minus minus means decrement by 1 or increment by 1. So you want to change this back to decrement. This is also the same as saying is amount is equal to minus equal 1. Get the value of amount minus 1 and then put amount back into here. Okay, so after this while loop statement, we want to print out how much the total is. So the total of the numbers entered is total. So if we run this now, and please enter the number of numbers you wish to enter. I'm going to say 5. Okay, so I need to enter 5 numbers now. My first number is going to be 10. Okay, so it's got that. Then I'm going to say 20. Then I'm going to say 0, 10, and 10. If you notice, I've entered 10, 20, 0, 10, 10. That's 5 numbers. And the total of the numbers entered is 50, which is correct. 10, 30, 30, 40, 50. Right, now I'll show you a common mistake when doing this. If the user enters 5 numbers he wishes to enter, and then for this while true statement you say amount is more than or equal to 0, well, what's going to happen now is when amount is actually equal to 0, it's going to run this code again. So it's going to actually get 6 numbers from the user when he only wanted to enter 5. So if you do this again, so we want to enter 5 numbers, we just say 10, 10, 10, 10, and then 10 again. Well, we've entered 5 numbers already, which is equal to 50, and then it's asking us to enter another number again. So if we enter another number again, well, now the total is going to be 60 when we only entered wanted to enter 5 numbers. So make sure that when you're doing these while true statements that you make sure that these operators here to check the statement is true or false is right. If you want it to be the exact number, you'll need to say more than 0, if you're decrementing, that is. Thank you for watching. Please like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Goodbye.